Tucker Carlson destroys New Jersey Dem who tweeted Hunt GOP Congressman, "You're an unbalanced person." Tucker Carlson destroyed New Jersey Dem James Devine, who tweeted Hunt GOP Congressman after the shooting of Congressman Steve Scalise. James Devine tweeted on June 14th, "We are at war with selfish, foolish, and narcissistic rich people. Why is it a shock when things turn violent? Hashtag Hunt Republican Congressman." James Devine. In 2002, Scalise was a speaker at the European American Unity and Rights Organization, Euro, a group founded by David Duke. Hashtag Hunt Republicans. Once again, the left proves that they are the violent ones looking to terrorize and hunt down conservatives. James Devine is your typical unkempt, unhinged leftist who has no shame in doubling down on this type of rhetoric while a congressman is fighting for his life after an assassination attempt. Let's take a listen.
Well, good evening and welcome to Tucker Carlson tonight. Most people were horrified, of course, by last week's assassination attempt on Republican members of Congress, which wounded 5 people and nearly killed House Majority Whip Steve Scalise. But most people apparently does not include some people, including New Jersey Democratic strategist Jim Devine. After the shooting, Devine tweeted this, quote, "We are in a war with selfish, foolish, and narcissistic rich people. Why is it a shock when things turn violent? Hashtag Hunt Republican Congressman." After many people objected, Devine did not back down. He followed up by tweeting this, "I'm sorry if my Hunt Republican Congressman hashtag hurt the feelings of any GOP snowflakes, but you have not engaged in civil discourse," end quote. We invited Jim Devine to come on the show, and remarkably, he agreed. He's brave, at least. Jim Devine joins us tonight. So, Jim Devine, under what circumstances is it morally acceptable to use violence for political ends?
It's never acceptable to use violence for political ends, except perhaps in the most extreme cases, like referring to George Washington and those guys. The fact of the matter is, we do with ballots in this country what they do with bullets elsewhere, and it is not uncommon in politics that we use the language of war. We talk about fierce rhetoric. We talk about cancer and so on. You were on a television program, and I don't know what your body count was when you were on Crossfire. I assume that there were no real casualties there. So it shouldn't be a surprise to anybody.
I mean, stop. You know what? I want to have a reasonable conversation. I don't want to demagogue this. But in the hours after 5 people were shot, including the House Majority Whip, you sent out a tweet that said, "Hunt Republicans." I mean, it was clearly a reference to the assassination attempt against Congressman Scalise. It's hard to imagine how you could justify writing something like that.
In the immediate aftermath of the shooting at the Sandy Hook School, we heard people say, this is not the time to talk about gun violence. We've heard lots of things follow this. You know, this is a...
But that's not what you were saying. You were encouraging gun violence. Wait, hold on.
Absolutely not.
You were encouraging gun
not.
violence.
Absolutely not. I never encouraged gun violence. I stated...
What did you mean by that? Don't put down that paper. I'm talking about you, not some other paper. I mean, please.
This is what's been out there.
I'm not interested in what other people...
We see stuff like this. And this is not an uncommon
That's great,
thing.
but we're not... Okay. So your excuse apparently is other people have done it. That's not an excuse. I'm here to ask you about something that you wrote, and why don't you explain it? Why did you write Hunt Republicans?
For too long, Republicans in this country have failed to distinguish the differences between politics and war. And a lot of Democrats have failed to see the similarities. So you guys either have to tone down the rhetoric or we have to step up. And I don't think there's anything...
Hunt
Republicans.
There's nothing wrong with that.
Sarah Palin put the crosshairs on Congress. I'm just saying Hunt Republicans instead of Democrats.
First of all, Sarah Palin didn't do that. A group affiliated with her did. And it's a difference between a metaphor and actually suggesting affirmatively go hunt Republicans after Republicans had just been shot.
She put up a boast about her Republican bullseyes.
What point are you making? That's okay?
What I'm making the point is that after year after year after year of hearing the same kind of violent rhetoric from the right, the left has every reason to come forward and stand up. What I've learned in life is that
With
when you're
violent rhetoric?
confronted with bullies, you have to fight fire with fire. You have to stand up to them.
But a guy just went and tried to assassinate Republican members of Congress.
And that was a
It
terrible,
just happened.
It was a
And
terrible,
you're
terrible thing.
No, but
and one of my tweets, Tucker, said, it's too bad nobody did something
I'm sure
before. And of course, Congressman Scalise
was
the guy
a
that
ludicrous
received
tweet, and of course
more
was
gun lobby
overshadowed
money
by
than
your
all but
suggestion
15 other members of the House.
Do you own a gun?
No.
Do you own a gun?
No, I said no.
Do you think that you should be able to pass a background check for a gun after tweeting something like that?
I don't see that this would disqualify me from passing a background check. But
so you think that someone, as a gun control advocate, I'm asking
to a
your
background
opinion.
check if I wanted to buy a gun.
No, but do you think you should be allowed, or anyone, hold on, let me finish my question. Do you think someone who tweets the day after an attempted murder like this, 100 Republicans basically cheering it on, that person, in this case you, ought to be allowed to have a firearm in this country?
Well, first of all, your interpretation that I'm cheering it on is not accurate. I specifically said that I don't condone or advocate violence. That was within seconds, and in another tweet that said hunt Republicans. This is a metaphor.
Another tweet that said, yeah, I do condone violence.
But I do not condone violence, and it was
something like
a metaphorical term. I've recently heard a prominent Republican say, I don't have time for political correctness. And I'll tell you what, I will make the time for political correctness when we have Republicans that aren't here talking over us.
But if we could just get back, if you could just answer my question really quick and then we'll move on to the next one. Do you think that someone who tweets a line such as hunt Republicans or hunt Democrats ought to be allowed to have a gun as a gun control advocate? That's my question to you. It's really simple. What's the answer?
Absolutely. I don't think that would, in and of itself, define them as a person who either broke
someone
the law
going on to social media and advocating violence in the wake of a shooting. That's not a red flag or anything. Okay. You're not much of a gun control guy, I guess. Yeah, apparently not. So your point is that Republicans, I guess this is your point, are advocating violence, and you're proving this by holding up a poster from 5 years ago. And because they are, you say now Democrats should? Like, what is your point? Is that what you're saying?
I'm saying that Democrats have to be more aggressive in the face of political issues, in the face of the opposition. We have members, one of the persons who was on that field who spoke about how terrifying it was, was Senator Rand Paul. Senator Rand Paul retweeted something from Andrew Napolitano that said the reason we have a Second Amendment is not so people can hunt deer, it's so that they could shoot at a tyrannical government.
So what's your point?
My point, Tucker, is very simply, no, absolutely not. But my point is that when you put up obstacles to people voting, when you secretly plot in the Senate to repeal health care that's keeping 50,000 Americans alive, and you're otherwise erecting barriers to the democratic process where we have elections where the people that get the most votes don't win,
then you should be shot.
What happens is, no, but that is tyrannical government. That's the
it's
point.
Understandable
It's the natural culmination.
Stop with the talking points. Just get to what you're saying. I want to know what you're saying. Are you saying it's understandable when someone might shoot you?
It's the natural culmination of the argument that was made by Judge Napolitano and Senator Paul Rand. If Senator Paul Rand would like to sit down Rand Paul, if he would like to sit down and have an hour-long discussion,
but hold on.
I'd be willing to show up and talk about it.
Okay.
My point is that enough is enough.
What is your point?
My point is enough is enough.
So,
if it's
time to take up arms?
No, it is not about taking up arms. It is about coming together and fighting back.
Fighting back how?
Politically. Peacefully.
Then what is it about hunting and cheer? You know what? You're an unbalanced person, and I have to say it's distressing that more Democrats haven't disavowed you.
Well, you know what? I'm a perfectly balanced person.
You don't seem it. Okay.
My point is that enough is enough.
What is your point?
My point is enough is enough.
So,
if it's
so it's time to take up arms?
No, it is not about taking up arms. It is about coming together and fighting back.
Fighting back how?
Politically. Peacefully.
Then what is this about hunting and cheer? you know what? You're an unbalanced person, and I have to say, it's distressing that more Democrats haven't disavowed you.
Well,
I
you
hope
know
they
what?
will.
I'm a
Jim,
perfectly
thank you.
balanced person.
You don't seem it.
And this is what is made up. Notice that he said when you have the popular vote. Again, they're claiming that Hillary Clinton had the popular vote. That's totally false. That was done through the voting fraud and illegal immigrants, or the illegals, not immigrants, illegals coming into the country and voting. Let us know what you think in the comments below. But this guy is unhinged, and he's calling for violence. Let us know what you think in the comments below, and again, thank you so much for watching.